Hey there everybody, Travis Bowman here. I'm a fingerstyle guitar player and retro video game nerd. Recently I had the wild idea that I wanted to start collecting complete in-box N64 games. Wrong place, wrong time, right? You would think that, but it's really not that bad, unless of course you're looking for the rarest of the rare and the heavy hitters. I'm not though. I'm not necessarily looking for the heavy hitters. What I'm most interested in are the games that I actually owned when I was a kid. It's kind of a popular thing these days. People that are in their 30s are trying to go back and collect everything from their childhood. The N64 was a huge part of my childhood, so I figured I'd at least take a look and see if this is even possible. Now I've got a list of games that I would like to collect, and we can go ahead and look at that right now. These are the ones that you're seeing here that I would like to continue to collect, the ones that I remember fondly from my childhood. We've got Turok 2's Seeds of Evil, Gauntlet Legends, Kirby 64, the Crystal Shards, Pokémon Stadium, 007 GoldenEye, Super Mario 64, Mario Kart 64, Flying Dragon, and WinBack Covert Operations. Unfortunately, these are really hard to find in person unless you go to a convention, and being from Central Arkansas, we don't have a lot of those around here, at least those that would have stuff like this. You can find the cartridges all day long, though they're still very popular. But finding them complete in the box, that's another story. I would like to go forward with saying that I'm not that picky when it comes to the term CIB, complete in box. It doesn't have to have the registration card or anything like that. I just want the game and the manual and the box, and I want them all to be in pretty decent shape, and I think that's a fair thing to ask for. A lot of people are very, very strict on what complete in box means, and technically they're right. Complete in box means exactly everything that was in that box when you purchased it brand new off the shelf, but I don't care about that stuff. Collecting things complete in box can be expensive, but for a complete in box game, you'd be very surprised with how cheap this stuff actually is. So let's jump into this and see what we can find for a decent price. All right, so first thing, the two main websites that I use for finding games that I can't find locally would be eBay, of course, and there's a wonderful website called Mercari that has gone through a couple of different changes as far as the buyer and seller agreement. They did something a while back where the buyer was responsible for the extra fees and not the seller, and that was kind of screwed up. I kind of quit using it when that happened, but it looks like they've reverted back to their old situation where the seller is responsible for those fees, which is nice. A simple search for N64 complete in box. Right off the bat, I see one that I'm looking at right here. This is WinBack Covert Operations. Me and my buddy Jonathan used to play the crap out of this game back in the day. Seller's taking some really good pictures too, which is so nice, man. It is so nice. I could tell he's using a decent camera to take pictures of this stuff too. It's just a hair beat up in a couple of spots, but who cares, man? It's for an N64 game in the box, it's looking pretty good. And he's got it listed for $54.99. plus like $8 shipping. So let's go to a new tab and let's look up price charting for WinBack. Price charting is your go-to place if you want to know how much games are going for with a combination of sites like this for complete in box. It looks like the most recent that this was sold was the 17th of January in 2025, and it sold complete in box for $36. And right here you can see the average prices for all this stuff, from just the loose cartridge, complete in box, brand new, never been opened, graded for some reason. I don't know why people are so into graded games. That's a little too far into the collecting aspect in my opinion, but if you're into that, more power to you, I guess. The box only, I love that they do this as well, and this is going to be a theme going forward. Sometimes in order to get the best price, you might have to complete it in the box yourself. So we might end up doing that because I do want to get a couple of these games here if the price is right. I'm trying to do this as cheaply as I can. So you've got the box and the manual price right here. So it looks like, $46.86. It's a little high that this guy has got for this, but it's in pretty darn good condition for, $10 more than the average. So I'm wondering, WinBack N64 complete in box. Let's see what else we can find. There's his listing right there. Oh, that guy wants way too much, but he's in Canada. And see, this is a little cheaper, $40 You can get lost in here, man. You can get very, very lost in here trying to compare everything. Looks like this guy's got a lot of N64 games on eBay, and they all look pretty complete-ish in box. So if you're looking to do a complete N64 collection, maybe doing it like this, getting a lot like this might help you out. Look at that WinBack, how sun-faded that box is. That's a darn shame. Of course, we want it to look the best that we can for display purposes. Okay, here we go, here we go. This might be interesting. I love when listings have best offer, and this is such a prime example of that. This guy has this listing, and it looks to be only the box and registration card. No game. The box is in god-awful shape. It looks pretty bad, but there's no sun fading. Here's a scenario for you. What you could do is make this dude an offer. The worst he can do is say no. He can't like ban you from looking at his stuff or anything like that. But I mean, obviously you could send him an offer that's reasonable. He's asking 27 bucks for this, and it's about $4 for shipping. So what if you lowballed him a little bit and went down to maybe, you know, $16? The worst he could say is no. The reason I say that, a lot of people are going to be very, very anal about that. Like, don't do that, don't lowball this guy. He might just want to get rid of the damn thing, you know? He might have, because he doesn't look like he's got a lot that he's sold. He's 100% positive. He might just want to get rid of it. This could be an opportunity to get an N64 game, albeit kind of beat up, complete in the box at a decent price. We'll keep on looking. Let's check out Mercari real quick. So I just did the same thing. I just looked up N64 complete in box. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, rather, for 33 bucks. That's a game I used to play when I was a kid. Actually, I need to add that to the list. For 33 bucks, that's not bad, I guess. We could always look it up and see how much it's going for. $31.95 complete in the box. Make an offer as well. That's what I love about Mercari as opposed to eBay. Sometimes the seller will let you make an offer on eBay, but not all the time. Every single time that you get on Mercari, you have the ability to make an offer, which is great. But this is looking like it's legitimately complete in box with all of the paperwork and stuff, which is really nice. So we could sit here and browse all freaking day long. You know, it looks like some of the heavy hitters are here. Super Mario 64. Really not an uncommon game, but it's very popular. It's not rare, but it's very popular, so people are charging a lot of money for it, and people that are interested in owning that game are paying it. So it's still kind of over 100 bucks to get this thing complete in the box. Mario Tennis right here. This is for $75 complete in the box. I got mine for like 30 bucks. You know, you just got to keep looking if you really, really want to get something for a decent price. And I'm pretty sure I got it on eBay as well. I got it for like 30 bucks on eBay because I was just waiting for that one listing. I had an opportunity to get it local for $80, and I just said, nah, that's too much. I like it, but I don't like it that much. What I'd really like to do today, see if I can make a purchase for Turok 2 Seeds of Evil. What's crazy is that the first listing that pops up right here is $115, but it looks to be legitimately complete with everything that came with it when you purchased it. And reminder, that doesn't interest me. If I can save some money, I don't care about the registration card or the N64 little manual that's in every N64 game. I don't care about that. I just want the manual in case I want to look at the manual for the game, you know? This right here seems to be a pretty good listing. The box is obviously beat up, but it's got everything in there for $37.99 or best offer. And the dude's in Texas, so I know that it'll get to me sooner. Now, this guy right here has a listing with the strategy guide, and it looks like it's the variant of that cartridge that's black. I didn't have that one, I had the gray one. So naturally, that's the one I'd like to get if I could. But this isn't a bad deal, I don't guess. It's got everything plus the strategy guide. That's a nice little bundle right there. Somebody I'm sure would love to jump on that. It's really not that desirable. I just want it because it's one of the few games that I really played a lot when I was a kid. I've been browsing here on eBay. Let's check Mercari. This is the listing that I saw earlier. This is the one that I would like to get if I could. This is just the box and the insert, so it's literally everything except the game. That's a little high for what he's asking right there. 30 bucks plus shipping. Yeah, it's $7 shipping too. So it'll be 37 bucks and you don't even get the game. I found listings for less with the game in great shape. So maybe what you could do, as long as you're patient, you could make this dude an offer for, you know, 20 bucks. And if you can get the game for $6 or $7, that might be worth it too. But I'm gonna keep looking. A game that I would really like to get that is just astronomically expensive, I guess, because it actually is kind of hard to find these days. It's Flying Dragon. It's a really crazy fighting game, 3D fighting game for the N64. There weren't many great 3D fighting games, like I'm not talking about Smash Bros, of course, but actual 3D fighting games on that system. But this was one of them that was actually pretty good. I really enjoyed it. I really love the music in this game too, but my God, this is crazy expensive. $199 for a complete in-box game though. I mean, I guess I could go with the route of the Japanese version, but I didn't have that one when I was a kid, so I'm not that really interested in it. But still, it's a pretty cool game. It'd be nice to get. Here's a really, really good one right here, Pokémon Stadium. Unfortunately, it's getting kind of tough to find this one complete for a decent price. It's getting on up there, and it looks like probably this one's gonna be the cheapest listing that we're gonna find on Mercari today. Complete in box, $140 frickin', and it looks like there's some stickers on the label right there. Yikes, that sucks. This was obviously at some sort of rental store at some point, and it also looks like the transfer pack has been chewed on by a dog. See, if I could find this one with just the box and the manual in the game, that would be awesome because I already have a transfer pack. I don't need another one necessarily. When you're hunting like this online, it's not as fun as in person, but as long as you're patient, you might find yourself a good deal. It's just a matter of patience. And I've been checking pretty much every other day to try to find something good for a decent price, something that I can knock off my list. So will I find something? Maybe, maybe not. We'll find out at the end of this video. What else do I have on the list here? Kirby 64, classic. That's another one that is ridiculously expensive these days, man. Ridiculously expensive. See, this is what I want right here. Looks like they just have the box in the game. Save files still work. The box in the game and the manual. That's really all it is right there. Yeah, it looks nice. 170 bucks versus this guy who legitimately seems to have it complete in box for a lot less, and he's come down on his price too. That's also nice to see. When they kind of take their price and shoot it down just a little bit, that means that they're getting kind of antsy. They probably want to sell this darn thing. This might be worth making an offer for. Am I going to pay $100 or more for this? No, probably not. Probably not. That's way too much money for this game, even though it is one of my favorites from my childhood. I really, really enjoyed playing that game a lot. N64 Gauntlet Legends. That is a great game. It's not the best version on the N64 either. I think the Dreamcast version is probably going to be the best version, but as you can see right here, we don't have a lot to choose from. This one appears to be the better condition of the two that I saw, and the dude's asking $100. Complete, tested, and working. And it does look in really good shape. Let's see. Complete price is right at $100, so he probably knows what he's got. This is one of those decisions where if you really, really want it, you got to drop the cash. You might get lucky and get it for a little less, but who knows? If I made him an offer, maybe of $70, he would probably counter with something like 90, and we would probably meet at 80, and I would have to be stuck with that $5 shipping. But it's a really good game in great condition. And a lot of people might say, like, why would you spend that much money on a game like that when there are such things like EverDrives out there that allow you to play all these games without having to actually own the legitimate cartridge? Some people like to decorate with all sorts of like art. You know, they'll get artwork and stuff and feng shui their house or whatever. I've never really been interested in that too much. I would rather put something like this on display because I'm a nerd. I like that kind of stuff. I would rather put that on display. So Would you go to Michael's or Hobby Lobby and spend over $100 on some sort of like vase or artwork or plaque or something that you can decorate your house with? Most people would and wouldn't think anything about it. Yeah, well, that's just the cost of that kind of stuff. I would rather get stuff that actually means something to me, that was a part of my childhood, that sort of thing. I would much rather have that. And something that's functional too. If I want to, I can pull out the manual, and it's such a lovely, lovely hit of nostalgia. It's something that I used to do when I was a kid that I can still do to this day. Okay, I just bought something off of the list. I found it for a really good price, and no, it's not Flying Dragon. Flying Dragon, no. I'm probably never gonna get that because it's just too damn expensive. But I did purchase something, so now we play the waiting game. We're waiting for it to come in the mail, and then we'll talk about how much I spent versus the going price, and then we'll close this video out. So I set out to make this video to prove that you can still get N64 games complete in the box without breaking the bank, and I think I've definitely proved that in this video. First one I'd like to show you is Mario Tennis. I saw this recently at Retro Rick's Game Point in Conway, Arkansas, and I think he wanted about $80 or $90 for it complete in the box. I ended up finding this for 40 bucks. Which is an insane deal. It's literally half of what he was asking. And you know, it's not that great a condition. The box has seen better days, but I don't care. It's in this protective case, and it looks great. You'd be surprised how well these games look when they're in a protective case like that. You can't really tell how bad it is because they kind of shape and form to that protective box there. 1080 Snowboarding. Not a particularly wonderful game, of course, but it's one that I am fond of from my childhood. My family and I used to really dig this one. There's something about it. I don't know what it is, but we used to make fun of what the characters would say when you would select them in the character select screen. And of course, I cannot make this video without talking about my favorite video game of all time. I had to get it complete in box. This is Hybrid Heaven. I've had this one for quite some time now. I'm pretty sure it was an eBay purchase. It was like 30 or 40 bucks, which is not that bad at all. And unfortunately, the barcode on the back of the box has been taken out, and I guess that's why it was so darn cheap. It didn't really bother me that much because it's still a wonderful display piece and a memento of my childhood that I really am super fond of. This game right here. If you haven't played Hybrid Heaven, please do so. I've got a video on it. Check that link in the description if you want to check that out. And of course, I had to get Castlevania for the N64. It's probably my second favorite game on the Nintendo 64 behind Hybrid Heaven, of course. Now, this one wasn't cheap. I got this from a buddy of mine, and it was about $100. I wanted it that bad, okay? I know that that's a ridiculous amount of money for an N64 game, but still, I'm glad to have it. It's a staple of my childhood. I've beaten this game more times than I can count, and it gets a bad rap. Honestly, it's not that bad. One of my favorite N64 experiences, and I'm super glad to have it. Now we're getting to the final pickup. This is a game that I just got recently in the mail yesterday, as a matter of fact, so I don't have the protective case on it just yet, but Nightmare Creatures for the N64. A very interesting 3D beat-em-up sort of situation. I don't know. You play as a priest named Ignatius, and you beat the crap out of zombies and demons and nightmarish creatures. It's a really cool game, really underrated in my opinion. It's very clunky, especially on the N64, and I'm pretty sure the PlayStation 1 version is the better version, but still, I first played it on the N64, so I wanted to get it complete in box. This was like 40 bucks, you know? And the box is in terrible condition. You can see that it's kind of melting right here. It's seen better days for sure. But like I said, once I get it in that box protector, it will start to be more uniform, and I think it'll look a lot better on display. Nightmare Creatures is one of my favorite experiences on the N64 from my childhood. So now it's time to have a discussion in the comments section below. What are your experiences collecting for the Nintendo 64? Are we just too darn late in 2025 and beyond, or is it still a possibility to find some really good deals for complete in-box games for the N64? Let me know the answers to those questions in the comments section below. Thanks for liking this video, thanks for subscribing, and I'll catch you guys at the next one. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.